What is up, YouTube? It is September, it's a Saturday morning, and my days are running out here in Macau. So I've been really debating as to whether I should make this video or not. Maybe because it's a little bit more personal and I'm letting you guys into a space which I've never really let you guys in before. But I think it'd be interesting and it'd be a nice memory for me. So I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a tour. So right now I'm outside in this mid-level area of my apartment complex. From here I can see the 13th and also the One Oasis Towers where I used to live. And then over here on my left right now, I can see Galaxy. It's a little bit of a smoggy, foggy day. I'm just giving you guys a tour of my apartment complex and my apartment and talking a little bit about apartments in general here in Macau. So as you can see, this is the 3rd floor. Very lush, very green. It's not even like the base level, but they've really fitted it out with a lot of greenery up here. So it's quite nice. All right, so let's get in the elevator. Let me take you up. So interestingly enough, and I'm just gonna talk about like what it's been like living and renting in an apartment in Macau the last 6 years. First off, I need this card to be able to get to my floor. And then speaking of floors, I live on the 5th floor here. Now, when I arrived in Macau, you know, I'm just a kid from Las Vegas, either lived in an apartment or lived in a house. I didn't know what living in a high-rise condominium was gonna be like. So when I first moved to Macau, I got an apartment on the 36th floor, and it was an amazing apartment. I could see the Cotai Strip, I could see the lights during the nighttime, and so I thought, wow, so cool, the 36th floor, right? But as I continued to live in Macau, I ended up realizing that higher isn't always better, even though there is, oh, I forgot to show you guys. Let me do that again. Like I said, not a lot of editing in this video, but let me give you guys a look. So this is truly amazing. Here we go. And unlocked. I really, really appreciate that function. Mostly because I can be a little forgetful, and I'm never gonna forget my thumb, right? Although, I guess if, you know, some mafia style situation happened, they could always cut off my thumb and then I'd be out of luck. But anyways, I was talking about, I lived on the 36th floor, I lived on the 35th floor, 29th floor, and then I ended up living here on the 5th floor. And let me tell you a couple reasons why I eventually, the last time I settled on the 5th floor. So 2 things. First off was my first, maybe more than 2 things. First off, lighting. I didn't realize this because I'd always lived on the ground floor in a house or an apartment. Lighting's very different on the 36th floor. It's not like, you know, you get to watch it from the ground floor and it's fine, but it like shakes the windows, it's crazy. And then I experienced a typhoon on the 29th floor. And then I realized that the building was moving. You could see, like, what I had done was I had filled my bathtub with water because previously in a typhoon, we'd lost water for several days. So I filled my bathtub with water, and I could hear the water draining into the runaway drain when you overfill it. But I hadn't overfilled it. I had filled it just up to that area. But then as the typhoon winds were moving the building, I could hear the water just sort of going out of the tub. It was insane, and yeah, that was an experience. And then lastly, and I think one that really people don't like to talk about, and you know, knock on wood, is that in case of a fire, I think the firefighters' ladders only reach, like, I don't want to say the exact floor, but they don't reach the 30th floors, right? A lot of buildings have like a fire escape area like cut in the middle. That's why a lot of buildings look like they're cut in half, because there's like, that's where people can go and seek refuge, and I'm assuming that's where the firemen's ladders can reach. Anyways, just to continue this video, again, it's a tour, but we got to do the right thing. And we are in Asia, so I am going to take off my shoes, obviously. And as always, we have our little shoe rack here. First thing coming into the apartment. And then the door. I got my Faichun. I think I said that right. Anyways, I don't know how long you're supposed to keep this up. It pretty much stays up all year here in this house. I hope it's not like a Christmas tree situation. My friends from Macau, how long do you leave your Faichun up on your door? I have no idea. I don't exactly know what it says. I'm sure there's something relating to happiness and love and health and money. But I'd have to ask Elise, and she's not here right now. So let me begin the tour. First off, let me say that this might be the last time the apartment looks like this, because a lot of things are still here, but we're getting rid of things pretty quickly. We've already gotten rid of the big cabinet that we were using to store our clothes. Elise moved that to her mom's place. And yeah, we're going to get rid of things pretty quickly here. So one of the things that I want to show you guys is, well, I'll just go through and show you some of the different things that are in this apartment. So what's interesting is when we got this apartment, it came with this like, this is like a little closet. I don't think it's big enough. Some apartments have something called a maid room. I really don't think that's big enough for a person. I think that's just a closet. And while nice, what's disappointing is that they could have made the kitchen much bigger than they did. Because the kitchen it's just, two people really are able to fit in here, and that's about it. So let me show you the kitchen here. Got all of my pictures with Elise, my family here, my cousins. This one's covered up, but that's my good friend Tim, which I'm gonna see in Las Vegas. And then this is my plate from when I was working at Wynn, and I do have a Chinese name. They gave me a choice of what name to choose, and I want to say my Chinese name is Feng La Wai, but I've also heard it say Feng Yet Wai. I'm not sure. So right now I'm in my whole kitchen. Okay, this is it. This is the entire area, and yeah, I mean, wash your dishes here, cook over here, oven over there. So it gets pretty tight, especially if you're trying to do a lot. I'm just looking at how much battery I have left because this was supposed to be a short video. And then this I really like. It's a little balcony that oversees more of the third floor. So they have a little children's area, and then the gym is down there, and then the pool is way over out there in the distance. And then this is the washing machine. Now, a lot of people will hang their clothes here. I've never been a big fan of hanging my clothes outside, but that's pretty typical. Before I go into the bathroom and show you that, I've always sort of gotten a 2-bedroom apartment because I always use the second bedroom, which I'm in right now, as a way to hang and dry my clothes, and then I just run the dehumidifier, which is, you know, some people say, well, it dries faster outside. I know, but I didn't always used to have that balcony either. Here we used to have a big closet, and this room was used to dry clothes and iron clothes, and sometimes we'd maybe work out in this room. The bathroom ain't nothing special. This is actually nicer than a lot of the other bathrooms I've had. It's bigger, but you'll notice it doesn't have like a tub. It's just a shower, really. But what was kind of interesting about this is that it has no. It's just an open space. So I thought it was kind of weird in the beginning. This is my clock. It's right twice a day. And then look, obviously most people don't talk about their toilets, but this toilet is amazing because it's Japanese. And I kind of imagine that's what George Jetson felt like when he went to the bathroom, because it's so futuristic. I love it. I don't even know how I'm going to get used to not using it, to be honest. So the nice thing about this apartment is it's got this really like long corridor, and it makes the living room space feel really large. When I first got to Macau, a lot of my furniture was from IKEA. So the table, my couch over here, and then a lot of things. Obviously, I've collected a lot of things from friends that have left Macau. Like my friend gave me this chair. Penny, if you're watching, thanks for the chair. It's gonna get, I'm gonna send it to somewhere else to live now. And then some of this stuff. So it's a little messy. Sorry, because we're trying to move, and I'm trying to fit my whole life into two large luggages, one carry-on, and a backpack. So that's a little bit painful. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about apartments-wise, besides just giving you guys a tour of, hey, this is what my apartment looks like, is you see the lights? So these fixtures, we need to put them in because the landlord refused to put any fixtures in. When we rented this apartment, because it was a brand new apartment, we only had these fixtures here, and they really sucked. The light's really harsh, but we couldn't get them to budge. And the other thing that I really have had a hard time with in Macau is that most landlords do not want to put in curtains. So you end up, improving their properties because, frankly, who can't live without curtains and a decent enough light fixture, which they're going to use for the next tenant anyway. So I've never understood that. The other thing that I've never understood is all of the contracts here for renting apartments are in Hong Kong dollars. And that's strange to me because we're in Macau, and in Macau, I would say that 99% of all businesses accept both. I'm just looking at I'll make sure I have enough battery. Accept both Hong Kong dollars and Macau local currency to settle any transactions. And they write all the contracts for renting an apartment in Hong Kong dollars, which I guess if it's a contract, it is what it is, but I find that a little bit odd. I don't understand why they do that. Obviously, they do that because they get 3% more, because the Hong Kong dollars are worth 3% more than the local currency. But so, talking about currency, just to share with you guys how much this apartment costs, give you guys an idea of what you're looking at right now. So remember, one of the things that I had to learn is that the market fluctuates really quickly here in Macau. So a lot of foreigners have left. Companies have not renewed contracts. They've laid off a lot of expats. And that has caused a lot of these housings, the newer housings that they were renting, to the prices to come down a lot. But this apartment still costs 10,000 Hong Kong dollars a month, which is divided by 7.75. I think it's a little over $1,300 if I remember correctly. I'm going to try to do the math on the spot here. Divided by 7.75. Yeah, it's like a little under $1,300. Now, when I first moved to Macau, my first apartment was 15,000 Hong Kong dollars. I was a little bit in a rush to get a place, and it was in a really nice location. That was the 36th floor, and I could see the Cotai Strip. A little bit too over the top, because frankly, I spent more time at work than I did at the apartment.
This room, or the computer room, I guess.
But that way you learn. So my first rent was 15,000, and then I moved out here to a different part of the city, and that was 10,000. Both new apartments, brand new, no one had lived in them. And then rents went way up, and then I could only get a one bedroom for 10,000, so I downgraded to that. And then, the reason I downgraded is because they wanted to go from 10,000 Hong Kong dollars a month, which is $1,300, to 13,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is approximately $400 more, or a 30% increase in my rent. So it was really crazy. That's why I've moved a lot in Macau, because I just don't like it's like, hey, I was paying 10,000 and now I'm paying this, so I'm gonna go find a place that fits my budget, which sometimes sucks because you got to pay the commission fees of the agents which is a whole month. But, you know, you got to do what works. You got to do what works for you. Anyways, I don't really know if I gave you, I didn't really talk about the main bedroom. I just kind of walked in here, sorry. So I usually, hasn't changed a lot. We haven't given too much away yet. I like to keep the main bedroom actually pretty clear of most things. There isn't a lot going on here except for the bed and, you know, the nightstands next to it and some clothes that we've had in here. And then each room has its own AC unit, which is very different than in the US that has like a central AC. I really like this because at night, I only turn on this AC unit and the entire apartment, there's nothing. And then I have this little cover here that prevents the air from, actually sort of seals the room in a way that stops the air from leaving. So it gets pretty airtight. And so, yeah, I guess I just wanted to make sure that I struggled a little bit with making this video because I was like, you know, do I really want to like share this? It's not like, it's a little messy because of everything that's going on. And, but I wanted to share some of the experiences that I had. And since I'm being completely honest, you know, coming to Macau as an expat, I did have a housing allowance. So that is incredibly helpful in finding a place. And as I said in my other videos, the big shock of moving here is finding a place to live and then coming up with 4 months of rent. So if you think about it, my first apartment was 15,000 Hong Kong dollars times 4, that's 60,000 Hong Kong dollars. That's like almost 8,000 US. So you pay the first month, and then you pay 2 months deposit, and then you pay 1 month commission, which is just mind blowing. You know, in terms of the agents and how much they do, it can be fairly little. Now I know there's a lot of administrative work, so if you're an agent, don't hate on me, but feels like I never hear from the agent again. But it is what it is. So I realized that earlier I had said that, you know, I'd never lived in condominiums. And just to be clear, these are not condominiums, which is part of the trouble in Macau. These are pretty much individual apartments owned by individual landlords. So it's not like in Vegas where you can go to the building manager and you can get a room, you can get an apartment that same day or even the next day. And that's why there's so much of the agents that exist, because individual landlords own apartments, they have an agent, those agents have to look for people who are renting apartments. And it can become like it can be a little exhausting, to be honest, but that is the situation in Macau. Oh, let me give you guys a view of my, you know, sort of what I look out towards. Nothing too fancy, but it is nice. If anything, it's a bit of a nice memory for me that I'd like to share with you guys. So this is the 3rd floor, as I discussed, and then over on the further area is the street, and then I get a really nice view of, let me see if I can open the window. I don't want a much better view for you guys. All right, so as I was saying, here is sort of the green space in our building, and then further out there is the street, and then I do see the mountain out there in the background. Very green, very lush. It's nice when it rains. And over at my old building, I could see the Amma Temple, which is up at the top, quite nicely. But here it's a little bit different. And then from the main bedroom, you get a little bit of a different angle, but pretty much the same thing. I don't think you can see the Amma Temple, but let me just give you guys a quick view. Oh. Yep. These apartments that you see here in front, these are government housing, which in the U.S. People will call them the projects, but you know, usually when you hear the term projects, there's like a connotation of like it not being very safe, but here it's super safe. I mean, Macau overall is super safe. I've talked about that a lot. I'm trying to think about if there's anything else that I've left out. So in terms of like the TV, In my last apartment, I had like apparently the building itself comes with your television, like your programming. And so I had a lot more channels over there than I did here. I could even watch like Fox Sports, and the UFC is free here for some reason. I think in the Asian region, Fox Sports and like the UFC is pretty much free. So a lot of the pay-per-view fights that I was watching in the US, I would watch them here Sunday morning because of the time difference, and it was free. But mostly in this apartment, it's really just been Netflix and YouTube. Very simple setup. I bought an Xbox a long time ago. I never played it. Ended up giving it away to Fredo. Hope you enjoy that. That's it, guys. I really don't have much else to say. Oh, the other thing that was the big difference is the humidity. Like I lived in Vegas and it's a dry area. Let me tell you, most importantly, get yourself a dehumidifier because like I had a tie that started growing mold. Shoes grow mold. Everything grows mold. So anyways, there's so many different things living in different places and how you gotta adapt to it. So that's it, guys. I hope this video was interesting for you guys because I'm just talking about, you know, showing you guys my apartment. Really nothing too special. IKEA stuff, and I think if I had to do it again, I might not buy my furniture. There's a lot of apartments that come pre-furnished, and so that would alleviate a lot of the hassle of having to deal with like the bed frame, the couch, the TV, the table. But as you can see, it's not a lot of stuff, and frankly I've had it for 6 years, so at this point even if I gave it away, it wouldn't be a big deal to me, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing with a lot of these big things. Either Elise is going to keep it or I'm going to find someone to give it away to and they'll come pick it up. And it's just the nature of, you know, going from one place to another. And it's now the second time in my life that I've done it. I've compressed my entire life into a few pieces of luggage, and frankly, not even everything in this luggage is mine. A lot of it is from my mom. She's, you know, she wants, you know, this or that, and if it was up to me, I'd own even less things. I'd like to be more mobile and free and minimalistic if possible. And so that's it, guys. That's just closing out the final days in the apartment. I think either tonight or tomorrow night is going to be my last night here. And then I'm gonna go stay at the Galaxy, so I may make a quick video there. These videos are gonna be very just informational and showing you guys what's going on, because I found that as the days get closer to me leaving, it becomes harder for me to edit and, you know, put in the same level of creativity and effort into the video. So they're really just informative. And I hope you find them interesting. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please like and subscribe. I'm on a whole new journey. I'm going home in a way. You know, it's been 2 years since I've seen my parents. It's been 4 years since I've seen my grandparents. I miss them a lot. I really can't wait to see them. I'm excited to see them. And I think that I just think it's time to dedicate some of my time to family, which I've spent so many years out here now that I think they sort of deserve a little bit of me going out there and seeing them. And frankly, I miss them so much. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.